Welcome back to another episode of The Radio Psychs, your premier podcast for insights into everything mental health. I'm Dr. Aaron Haddock.
And I'm Dr. Rhonda Yu. We're psychologists who care about people and bringing science to practice.
And we're so glad to have you join us.
Please note that the information shared in this episode is solely intended for informational and entertainment purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical or mental health advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Today's topic is news about LSD for severe anxiety.
We're coming to you live from the internet.
Man, now that I hear that again, it sounds a little funny. Try online studio.
Oh, I kind of like that. Music? We're coming to you live from our online studio.
That's a ticket right there.
Nice. All
right. Now, not long ago, we released an episode about psychedelic drug research. In that episode, we talked about what psychedelics are, the current interest in their use for therapeutic purposes, and the clinical trial process.
We also talked about some organizations that are leading the charge in efforts to explore the potential of psychedelics for treating various mental health conditions.
And some of you responded with an interest in learning more about the LSD formulation that was recently granted the breakthrough designation by the FDA. So, our top story for this podcast is about lysergic acid diethylamide, better known as LSD, a synthetic chemical made from a substance found in a fungus called ergot.
LSD is a psychedelic drug that is known for its profound alterations in perception, cognition, and mood. And its journey into the mind begins with its interaction with serotonin receptors, particularly the 5-HT2A receptor in the brain.
This interaction leads to its psychoactive effects, which can vary widely from person to person and even from one experience to another. One of the most striking effects of LSD is its ability to induce hallucinations, or what many call trips.
Users often report experiencing vivid visual distortions like enhanced colors, patterns, and shapes, as well as changes in auditory perception and sensory experiences. But LSD's impact goes beyond just visual and sensory alterations. It also influences cognition, leading to changes in thought processes, perception of time, and sense of self.
Many users report experiencing a heightened sense of introspection and self-awareness during a trip, which can lead to significant shifts in consciousness.
Mood alterations are another hallmark of LSD's effects on the mind.
While some users may experience feelings of euphoria, transcendence, and interconnectedness, others may encounter anxiety, confusion, or even paranoia, especially at higher doses or in unfamiliar environments.
In 1970, the United States Congress passed the Controlled Substances Act, which classified drugs into different schedules based on their perceived medical value, potential for abuse, and safety profile. LSD and other psychedelic drugs like psilocybin, MDMA, and DMT were placed in Schedule 1, the most restrictive category, alongside substances like heroin and marijuana.
But it's a new day, and the interest in exploring the potential therapeutic benefits of LSD in recent years has been strong.
And as we mentioned in our previous episode on psychedelic drug research, MindMed is a biopharmaceutical company that has been conducting clinical trials on various psychedelic compounds for the treatment of anxiety and ADHD.
This company was founded in 2019, just a few years ago, and they've developed this LSD formulation they refer to as MM120, which recently received breakthrough therapy status from the FDA for the treatment of generalized anxiety disorder.
Apparently, when the MM120 clinical trial started in 2022, it was the first time in over 40 years that LSD was studied in a medical setting.
Really? Man, in the 50s, 60s, and early 70s, thousands of people took LSD and other psychedelic drugs for research.
Yeah, some consider that period the golden age of psychedelic research. Okay, back to MM120. As you may recall, Phase 2 of the clinical trial process involves a larger group of participants. But what we haven't talked about before is that Phase 2 trials are typically divided into Phase 2A and Phase 2B to differentiate between early-stage exploratory Phase 2A studies and more advanced efficacy and dose-finding Phase 2B studies.
In terms of efficacy, results from a Phase 2B trial appear promising, with a single dose of MM120 leading to a 48% rate of remission from generalized anxiety disorder at 12 weeks after treatment.
So What did they learn about dosage?
Well, the trial tested doses of 25, 50, 100, and 200 micrograms compared with a placebo. And according to their chief medical officer, 100 micrograms appeared to be the right dose to bring into phase 3.
So they didn't see better outcomes with 200 micrograms?
It doesn't look like they did. Instead, it seems they just saw more unwanted side effects with 200.
Ah, unwanted side effects. That's something we should consider. The safety profile of MM120.
Yeah. MindMed's recent press release about the phase 2B study said that the MM120 was generally well tolerated.
They also noted that most of the adverse events were mild to moderate, transient, and occurring on dosing day, and consistent with expected acute effects of the drug. But continued monitoring and assessment of potential unwanted effects will be important as research progresses and the drug moves closer to potential clinical application.
Agreed.
Wow, MM120 really is something to pay attention to, isn't it?
Absolutely. Anxiety disorders are the world's most common mental disorders, affecting hundreds of millions of people each year. And they pose a significant challenge to treatment. We see difficulties and complexities in finding effective ways to address it.
According to the National Institute of Mental Health, nearly 1 in 5 adults in the US had an anxiety disorder in the past year.
And generalized anxiety disorder? This is a chronic, debilitating mental illness.
The standard of care for generalized anxiety disorder typically involves psychotherapy, with cognitive behavioral therapy considered the gold standard approach for this condition, and drugs, like SSRIs and benzodiazepines. But this can take a lot of time.
Right. Therapy takes time, and medications often require time to work and may involve a period of experimentation with various doses.
Yeah, the standard of care we're so used to can require an extensive use of healthcare resources.
So, to hear about something like this, no psychotherapy, just a single dose of a drug, and nearly half of the people in the trial with this condition experienced significant relief several months after they took it, it's more than interesting.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And it's fascinating how societal perceptions can shape the trajectory of scientific research, isn't it? Rondi, out of curiosity, what are your thoughts on the reemergence of LSD in the clinical setting after decades of prohibition?
Well, it's clear that attitudes are evolving, and there's growing recognition of the potential therapeutic benefits of psychedelics. However, we need to approach this with caution and rigorous scientific scrutiny to ensure both safety and efficacy.
I couldn't agree more. As exciting as these developments are, it's crucial to maintain a balance between innovation and evidence-based practice. The reintegration of LSD into the medical realm is a bold step, and only time and further research will reveal the full extent of its potential.
And that's our time for today. We hope you enjoyed this discussion with us today on some news about LSD as a potential treatment for generalized anxiety disorder.
If you like this content, please hit subscribe. And as always, comments, questions, and suggestions for future episodes are always welcome. Take care and be well, everybody.
Take care and be well.